All right. So we're going to finish off with a little discussion about problem-oriented policing, right? Which is really what we think of as a proactive policing effort. So this differs from calls for service in that there's usually a problem, and I guess we'll put this on. Whoops. There's a problem that comes on where, like typically for a call for service CFS, there's a problem. Police respond to the call, right? But under a proactive approach, right? What we end up doing, right, is that we are actively we are searching for issues and concerns ahead of time. And so what ends up happening is that because of this proactive kind of component, right, we're looking to find problems and do something about it before it evolves. So when we think, like what exactly like are we getting at, right? Um, so when you think about problems, right, these are things that are underlying and that seem to be going on, right? Because if we think about this as like from a call standpoint, it's like I'm calling you because there's drug dealing in the neighborhood, or there's signs of disorder, physical or social or whatever, right? And so that's like an indicator that something is afoot, right? Or it could be an indicator of something like there's a burglary happening, or something like that, right? So we start with like these indicators, and what we end up trying to do then is to find ways to address them, right? And so we think about this as sort of in a process that it's called the Sarah model. Um, Named after Fleetwood Mac song, right? If you don't know what I'm talking about, you should go check it out. So, it's called Sarah because, we scan, and let's see, analyze, respond, and assess. So, just for convenience sake, it's called Sarah because of these letters right here, right, in this acronym. And so when we think of the, scan problem, right, Uh, this is where we're trying to find a problem. And if we're analyzing it right, we're collecting information about a situation. Responding is that we develop or, or implement something that we think is going to work. And then we assess to check if we need more information, and to see if our approach worked. So if we visualize this like a little bit, right, we can think of this as like sort of like a circle of effects, right? So, if we think about the scan part, right? So this is when we think we might find like a possible problem, right? So maybe like there's a lot of like gas stations that are being targeted, for like shoplifting, right, or other forms of theft, or people are, they're distributing like illegal cigarettes in the sense of like they don't have like tax on them, right, or something like that, right? So then, I guess we'll do a new color, right? We analyze the problem. So we want to, find out more information, collect more data about what's going on, right? So we can, view this as that we go in this part of the circle, right? So we're collecting more data. So maybe that's something like if we, like what kinds of cigarettes are being distributed, what kinds of stores are being targeted. Maybe that's something about what time of day. That could be, offender information. Is it, individuals? Is it groups? Or things like that, right? So then once we've figured out, what's actually going on, right? This is where, we then respond to whatever we see. So in this case, then, so if we have the respond going in, right? So maybe that means we're going to have more directed patrols at particular hours, or maybe we'll talk to homeowner or store owners about maybe having installing cameras. If we think maybe something's related to like the cleanliness of the store or something like that, we may like start upping like code enforcement to really kind of like tackle that kind of problem ahead of time. It could also be something, that we look through and we say like, well, maybe we're having the wrong approach, right? And we just need to be like more aggressive and have a greater police presence, right? But after this is done, right, we're often in this position, for like as with many things, right? We want to know if it worked or not. And so at this point, right, we assess, our progress, right? So we'll go ahead and connect our circle here. And so for this, well, that's not what I wanted at all, but we'll work with it. So for this, then, if we're assessing something, right, we're seeing, like, did our response work? Did we get enough information? Do we need to collect more information? So conceptually, right, at this assessment stage, we could be examining, like if we need like more information, if we need to analyze things more, if maybe we didn't refine our problem well enough, maybe things like that. We're also evaluating our response, right, to see if we effectively handled it. Did it work as intended? Did we prevent the crime or the behavior that we want, right? So the thing that's useful about this, right, is that this becomes like a very information-driven response, right? And if you think back to our random patrol thing, right, this information-driven response, right, like it's better than random because it's informed by data. So because we have this existing, we can find patterns, we can find conclusions, right? And you might make some inferences as to how and what, might actually work here, right? So it's a data-driven kind of process, right? That should, if used correctly. So if the information is used correctly, then it should tell us about, a good pattern, right? We can make informed judgments. So with these judgments, then we should be able to, better target our problem. All right, so we'll just go ahead and leave that here, and I'll see you guys in the next set of videos.